It's tragic, but it's no longer surprising that also a bookshop gets raided. And I wouldn't be even surprised if a vegetable shop gets raided, next, because it sells tomatoes that come from a certain place.
After the Educational Bookshop in Jerusalem was raided twice last year, with owners Mahmoud and Ahmad Muna arrested before being released without charge, we took a visit to speak to them. We wanted to know what kind of threat the Israeli police thought that a bookshop posed.
My name is Ahmad Muna, born and raised in Jerusalem. We're at the Educational Bookshop. The bookshop was established over 40 years ago. We started in 1984. It's a family-run business, so I'm already the third generation into running this bookshop. We have about 1,800 titles here in the bookshop on Israel-Palestine. That's the main topic here in this bookshop. We are selling books that are written by Palestinians or by Arabic speakers on fiction, or on literature, on history, on politics, books that are written by Palestinians or written by others, but on Israel-Palestine. So we have books here, as I often like to say, from problem creation to problem solving and everything in between.
The Educational Bookshop doesn't just sell books related to the conflict between Israel and Palestine.
We promote Palestinian and Arabic writers, fiction, non-fiction. We also have a collection of Arabic language books, of cookbooks, picture books from Israel-Palestine, and all the good fiction also that's not related to this region. So all the Nobel Prize winners of literature, the Women's Prize for Fiction, the Pulitzer Prize winners, and so on and so forth.
Ahmad still isn't sure exactly why the Israeli police targeted the bookshop. We asked him what happened during the raid.
So on the 9th of February, we were raided in the afternoon. When about 2:30 in the afternoon, we were surprised with visits of undercover police who came to both of our locations. The other one is across the street, and basically they presented us with a search warrant that they want to search the shop for materials that is inciting for terrorism against the state of Israel. We explained to them that we don't have such content. But they also refused, and they said they need to do their search. I asked them what exactly they're looking for, and they told me they can better find what they're looking for by searching. They kicked the customers out. We've had customers in, and they started their search, which was very aggressive, brutal. They stopped us from interfering. They were not allowed to touch the books. We're not allowed to even put books back. They were throwing books all over the shop. Books they didn't like, they threw away. They didn't know any Arabic or English, and the books that we have are here in this shop are in English, and the other shop were in Arabic. They didn't know any of the languages, so they were Google translating books. But Google Translate also failed them, was not so successful at times. So they started to pick and choose books according to the picture and to the covers and to the designs. So they picked up books that had the word Palestine, the word Gaza, books that had the pictures of the Palestinian flag, a picture of a prisoner, a picture of a boy being arrested, a picture of Israeli army or police. So this is what the search was about, or basically how it was conducted. It was no longer about the content, funny enough.
Ahmad and his uncle Mahmoud were taken to an Israeli police station and interrogated, then told they would be held in custody overnight. When they were taken to court the next morning, the police claimed the books they had collected contained material designed to incite terrorism, but weren't able to say which books or produce any evidence of their claims.
They failed to present what content and what evidence, and they said they needed more time, basically, to look into the books. Our lawyer asked for our immediate release because we don't have, first of all, there's no evidence, and we actually don't have any of the books that have such content. There was another twist in the way they arrested us based on incitement, but actually you can't prosecute somebody for incitement without having evidence. So while we were under interrogation, they shifted gears and they interrogated us on the suspicion of disturbing public order, not on incitement. And hence the questions were quite silly. What time do you come to work? What do you do? What's your job? How long have you worked? Where do you live? What do you study? What's your hobby? Tell me more about yourself. These were the questions, but they were not about the books.
Because the police claimed they needed more time to produce evidence that the books they had confiscated were inciting terrorism, the judge in their case ordered that Ahmad and Mahmoud spend one more night in custody. Their lawyer appealed, and they found themselves back in court that same afternoon.
The judge in my opinion, was convinced that actually we should not stay in custody, but he didn't want to break the previous judge decision. He literally said that the police did not do their job here correctly because they didn't have a general prosecutor approval to arrest us for incitement. Yet, this is only 24 hours. This case has only been on for 24 hours, and we're supposed to have a court the next morning. So, it's just one more day in custody. So, let's give the police a chance. Maybe they'll find something. So we're kept, unjustly for 2 nights eventually at the end. And the next morning we were released before going to court. So the point was that we go to court the second day so that the police can present their evidence, but obviously they couldn't find any evidence. So they came before the court time was at 10. They came to us at 8:30 and they said, we're happy to release you on bail with 5 days of house arrest. We agreed because we wanted to get out of there.
For the privilege of being released, Ahmad and his uncle had to pay a release fee as well as bail. And part of the conditions of their bail were that they weren't allowed to return to their bookshops for the next 20 days.
20 days later, we came back to the shop. 1 week after that, they raided us again, came again to the shop saying that somebody's complained about the books in the bookshop and they had to do a search. So we had 2 police officers at first, and then they became 4, and then 6, and then 8, and then 10. 2 hours later, they confiscated 50 books and arrested my father. It was taken to the police station. Then we called our lawyer, who came and told them, we've already done that, you've already confiscated books, there's already a case. They claimed that they didn't know about all of this.
Ahmed's father was released after 2 hours in custody, and most of the books were returned. But the incident clearly shook Ahmad and his family, whose bookshop means more than just business to them. A true lover of his craft, Ahmad was particularly upset about the way in which the Israeli police handled the books themselves.
And they put them in rubbish bags, in big black rubbish bags. We offered them boxes, they also refused. The books got damaged because of the way they were carried. It was also humiliating for the books. And we had to see our shop basically being destroyed with many books on the floor at the end of this process, which we, again, were refused to interfere, even to fix books or to put them in order.
Do you view these raids of the Israeli forces on this bookshop as part of the crackdown on civil liberties and civil society in Jerusalem specifically? And what's the significance in us persevering and standing to those raids?
Absolutely. I think this comes hand in hand in what has been happening for the last couple of years in Israel. This government that is very right-wing, radical, extremist, that basically encourages settlement and settlers and is limiting freedom of speech, freedom of expression. This is absolutely a crackdown on further freedom of speech. And it also comes at the time when also schools are being raided and books from the curriculum are being confiscated, when universities are being raided and kids or students are being arrested from university classrooms. It comes at a time when theaters and cultural institutions are also being raided and questioned and investigated and even ordered to close or to cancel events. People who are organizing events are being arrested, comedians being arrested, singers, musicians being arrested. All of this comes, it's tragic, but it's no longer surprising that also a bookshop gets raided. And I wouldn't be even surprised if a vegetable shop gets raided, next, because it sells tomatoes that come from a certain place. And this is, of course, it's a further. It's part of the crackdown on limitations of freedom of speech and expression that everybody is suffering from. I guess different people suffer in different ways in this country, and the Palestinians in East Jerusalem. I think this is one way to harass them is by conducting such raids, by closing institutions, by closing. This is not only our bookshop. We feel that this is a bookshop of so many people. People belong here. People feel a connection to this place. This is why we've had so many people actually came to our court, who came to support us the next days. Many articles were written about it. I think because of the connection that people have with this place, and it's important to actually counter these raids by showing support, I guess.
So, What will the Muna family's response to these raids be? Going forward, will they censor themselves to avoid being targeted in the future? When we asked Ahmed this was his response.
I think this is also a place where, you know, it is a shop. It's a place where we sell books. It's a bookshop, but it's a little bit more than this. I think, as you said, you know, this is a place where people can come and study, can spend their day, can come and you know, many people meet here for the first time. They get into conversations. There's a place where you can sit and have a coffee. Some people come here for meetings. So, you know, it's a place where many people can come and connect, and it's an inclusive space also. It's open for everybody. We never really unwelcomed anyone into the bookshop. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome to talk, to discuss, to provoke ideas, to engage. So this is a very much an open space for the community, for anybody in Jerusalem, but also for internationals. Actually, many internationals also end up being here, whether they're tourists or locals who work here, international locals or expats. One last thing is we're continuing with our mission. We're here to stay. We're here to continue with our business. We have our mission, and we took a big hit with these raids, but we're going to go on and forward and continue to do what we do and continue to promote these books, and we will have more and more books coming in, and whenever there's a new book about this conflict, we will be sure to order it, and you'll find it here on the shelves.
We couldn't leave without asking Ahmed the golden question for any bookseller passionate about a particular subject: book recommendations for people who want to learn more about the Palestinian experience.
There's a book that becomes highly recommendable, which is Rashid Khalidi's 100 Years War on Palestine. It's a history book of narrating the history of Palestine over 100 years, written by Rashid Khalidi. It's actually an easy book to read. It's pretty short and quick, but it gives a good insight on the Palestinian history. If I was to recommend a personal story, perhaps Sari Nusseibeh, Once Upon a Country is a good example, which is written by somebody who's born and raised in Jerusalem, who's worked in Jerusalem, was the dean of Al-Quds University, and that's actually his memoir, Once Upon a Country. So that's my second recommendation.